Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, oh, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah. The Queen of Shade. Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Yes, I love the outfit.
Salutations, Dufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with a very special presentation, moving full speed ahead, having very interesting conversations. They're not really interviews, they're conversations. For those of you that are wondering, why are these more of you talking and then they talking? And it's because my interview style is completely different. And I'm not going to change it for not one hoe. Having said that, I have someone very special that you need to meet. This man means a lot to me, and he doesn't even realize it yet, but he will today. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to formally introduce you to Mr. Miller Axton.
Hello, hello.
Hi, baby. You were saying something before I hit record. Something about this old tired outfit you were saying.
No, I love the colors. Yes.
Thank you.
Come on.
I even did my eyes the same color.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So how are you today?
I'm well. Just taking the time to chill and enjoy the Friday before the festivities tonight.
Oh, what's going on out there?
So I usually like frequent the Hillcrest area in San Diego, and they like just have like regular like events out here. There's a club, pretty well-known club called Riches that I like go to, and then there's a little bar not too far from it called Flicks. So just bounce between those two areas.
Nice. Okay, so I have to tell everybody, Miller Axton is one of my darlings, and he is a consummate adult entertainer. And we love him for that. He has brought pleasure to the world, and including us. So yeah, so you're going out there, and are you going kind of in the capacity of just chilling, or are you expected to be a part of the show, basically?
Oh no, I'm just going to chill. It's been a tumultuous time, to say the least. From when I like started in the industry to kind of like finding my footing in the industry and realizing that like, hey, oh my God, people see you and like they know what you look like. It didn't really dawn on me. So it took a while for me to like really like just step into myself as Miller Axton and like own the fact that, hey, like this is you. And to be quite frank, there's quote unquote no going back.
Yeah.
So now that like I've gotten to like the mode of thinking that like, oh, this is like real, and like I'm not so much enamored by the glitz and glam of like just being seen, so to speak.
Yeah.
I've really motioned myself to take it a lot more serious first and foremost, but also to really authenticate that seriousness by branding myself effectively, building a team for myself, and really not only capturing myself in like my image, my appearance, if you will, but also the people that I hope to work with in a light that literally places the emphasis back on the artistic and creative aspect of like the ritual that is sex, as opposed to just having it be this kind of like, I don't want to say perverted, but like this very like tainted art form.
Right.
So
yeah. Most people, this is the thing, but people don't, well, they know because, I was voted most talkative in high school, and that's what I do for a living now. I talk and I sing. So I will never shut up until the day that I die. But what I realized too is, people tend to want to frown upon those people that are adult entertainers. And it is the reason why when I started my conversations, my interviews, I started with my community. I had the pleasure, and it was amazing. I had the pleasure of working as a female phone sex agent for 2 years in a call center, talking to men sexually explicitly, and like building fantasy and getting to know the mind, like the human psyche and the mind of a man. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of woo in there. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of woo in there. So, but it actually helped me tap into who I was even more, because even in the fantasies that I was providing just over the phone, I found that they were asking for me. They were asking for transvestites, which I am. I'm a cross-dresser
Mm-hmm.
trans illusionist, but they wanted transgender women and men. And the fantasies helped me to realize, like, wow, nobody talks about this, but this is heavily desired.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, the industry itself, the sex industry, is $1 billion industry. So why would we come down on the stars that provide us the pleasure and not come down on ourselves who buy the material, watch
Mm-hmm.
the material, get off to the material, share the material? Like it just, I was talking to somebody yesterday about sex, and it's just like, listen, we need to understand that sex is not some dirty secret. Everybody of age does it. And it's like, and to be quite honest, most of us learned how to effectively do it based on the tricks and things we saw in adult entertainment.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So it isn't just fun, it's information and education at the same time.
Yes.
Now, you said it's been tumultuous for you, and I'm going to go there in a second, very lightly. I don't want to get into business like that. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. No.
I'm an open book, so like honestly, it's gotten to a point now where I've like learned to navigate my
Uh-huh.
responses enough to just provide enough insight to not even
Yes.
like delve too much into the nitty gritty, if you
Yes.
will.
Yes, I concur. What I was saying is, you've worked with some of the best. Some of the best.
Yeah.
One guy who is absolutely amazing. He's been winning awards. He's been really climbing to heights in the industry. Is D'Angelo Jackson.
I love him.
I love
Absolutely adore
him
him.
too.
Like apart from like the areas where I like adversely like presented myself within the industry, undeniably he is and always will be the pinnacle
Yeah,
of like the growth within my career.
yeah,
I can honestly say that like I will never not sing his praise, because as far as professionalism goes, presence both on and off the stage, um, temperament, demeanor, ability, just again the overall essence of who that man is. He's untouched in that not only is he absolutely fucking beautiful, like I'm gonna go there,
yes.
but he's literally like, as far as presence, he's such an amazing person to work with, super sweet, and that's something that really impacted me as I like kind of like dove headfirst into an area of professionalism, quote unquote, that I really thought I knew about.
Right.
Um, so to have someone like that um want to work with me first and foremost, but
Yeah.
then um, be so kind in the
Yes.
act of it all.
Yes.
That really impacted again the way that I wanted to present myself within this industry.
Yeah.
And I'm yeah, so he set the precedent for like how I wanted to be treated.
Yes.
And that really changed everything about how I want to move within the industry.
Yeah.
So I have stuff in the works now on my own.
Yeah.
It's like pushing a boulder uphill. I won't lie about it, but I have the tactfulness to get it done, and I'm just taking my time with it at this point because I don't want anything hodgepodge. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I like I said, I really want to cast the light of creative artisticness back on the ritual.
Yeah.
So
And you know what? Since we're talking about amazing performers as well, you worked with Phoenix Fellington as well.
That's another one. Literally, I ain't even gonna lie. I really, really fell in love with him.
Yes,
Like, I
we all
did.
did. We all did. Like literally, like really, like really, like that. That man just does not understand how much we love him. Like he does.
Yeah.
He don't get it. And what I love about him is he's very mysterious. He's very hidden. He's very hidden.
Yes.
And him and I have had conversations over social media, and he's shared with me music and just different things. He's so talented in so many different areas. But now sing his praise. Go ahead. That was me.
Okay, so yeah, no, him, like, honestly, that's another who really changed the game as far as like myself, because this was, we went out to Orlando, and that's when he was kickstarting his brand.
Yes.
And literally, like, he and D'Angelo both are two of the people that I can say, like, I was never treated better. Like, I was just
Yeah.
like, oh wow, like,
Yeah.
I didn't, and then this is just for me being raised by women. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a get up and do it type of person.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, I'll get it done. Like, I'll do this. I literally did not have to lift a fucking finger. And that, not to call myself a diva or to make myself be that, but like, I was like, this is so new to me.
Yes.
And when I tell you, itinerary was set, he gave us the opportunity and the ability to be ourselves.
Yeah.
It wasn't, there was no wasting of time,
Right.
period.
Right.
Like, absolutely not. So that experience in and of itself is in a lane of its own.
Yeah.
Like, I will never forget it. I glorify it to like the highest degree. And Phoenix, if you ever see this, baby, I love you.
He'll see it. He'll see it. No, but what I notice about him and D'Angelo is they cater. They cater. And it's so beautiful. I'm gonna tell you how you came into my life, and I was like, I need to know who this is right now. I saw you when you worked with Young Perps.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the scene with another man that I love, Mike Maverick. And
Mm-hmm.
and I just loved the whole, I'm gonna fucking sue you. Like, I just loved that you were like, it was ensuing, but you were still like, this is so fucking wrong. I'm not fucking gay. Like, I loved all of that. I was just like, oh my God. And to be honest, I watched it last night because I was thinking about this interview today. And I went back to the first moment that I saw you. And from that moment, I was like, and some people, you know, and that's one thing we'll talk about too, because some people repost the content, and I don't really like that because I want to make sure everybody gets their just due and their coin.
Right.
But what I don't like is when people repost the content, they don't say y'all names. They don't say your names. So a lot of the times we're familiar with your faces and your bodies before we even know what your chosen name is. And then me, I'm a reference girl. So I got to go, and I'm looking like pictures. I have to look it up. Like, I have to find the name. And then once I find the name, I put it in my notes in my phone, and I'm just like, and then I begin to build links to my favorite scenes and things that you guys have done. And you, sir, as a brown boy to a brown boy, you are absolutely gorgeous.
I appreciate you.
Yes, and I love your performances, and you really do give us what needs to be given. You know, I'm gonna say this: it's never low brow. It's never low brow. It is never low brow. And that's because of that. That is usually when it's never low brow and not, and I'm gonna say this word too, and not hood. We have to know how you grew up, because you take into your life, you know, where you came from. People tell me all the time, oh, you're queen, you're so articulate. Well, I started in the projects of North Philadelphia, and I was moved into the suburbs of, you know, Pennsylvania when I was 10. So I learned how to speak with elocution and articulation and elegance, and I carry that now in my job. So having said that, where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Tell us.
Okay. So our stories very, very, very like almost eerily similar.
Wow.
Simply because like I'm a hood homeboy individual, and to
Yes.
like to speak to like one of my favorite artists, Nicki Minaj, just because she's one of those proponents and purveyors of like, hey, you can be the little drug dealer, not
Yep.
or the drug dealer selling your doing your do outside of the your car, but also be able to hold that 9 to 5. So
Yep.
my story is again very similar to yours in that.
Yeah.
Um, I'm from beautiful Southeast San Diego, and that's where I am now. I've moved back home,
Yeah.
but it's like the way the neighborhoods that I grew up in for like the first 5 years of my life,
Mm-hmm.
gang activity,
Yeah.
like everything that you can think of under the sun as far as like the quote unquote ghetto.
Yeah.
Um, and I was raised between two households because my parents were never married.
Right.
One was very strict. Oh, sorry about that. One was strict, very strict Southern Baptist single mother. This is my maternal grandmother. My paternal grandmother, military wife.
Yeah.
So my father, one of three children by the same marriage, whereas on my other side, one of four by three different men.
Yeah.
So my upbringing was extremely tedious in that
Uh-huh.
education was always at the forefront of it,
Yes.
but the application was different.
Yeah.
And I say that because on the Baptist side, my grandmother was just like, you gotta repeat this and learn this and memorize this. And on the side of the like the militarized family, I should say,
Yeah.
um, they were like keen on education by communication
Yeah.
and learning languages and understanding different walks of life and not operating in like discriminatory practices, but all the while
Yeah.
remaining true to who we are as Black people,
Yes.
because we fought long and hard to be able to hang with the best of them, so to speak.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I'm from the area of San Diego. I've been to nine schools total, but I went to 5 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 2 high schools.
Yeah.
And that was just because my mother, the hardworking woman that she is, single mom of 2 children, myself and my younger sister,
Yeah.
um, she busted her ass for a pharmaceutical company, private sector, all women, but it was headed by a very chauvinistic
Mm-hmm.
Caucasian man
Mm-hmm.
who objectified the women. So my mother, being the person that she was, raised in the ghetto, in the hood, completely transformed her life
Yeah.
um, to understand professionalism in that capacity.
Yes.
And she worked for 25 years for the same company.
Wow.
Started off as a receptionist, learned the inside, the outside, the everything about that business to where it could not run without her.
Yes.
So she ultimately ended up becoming the director of logistics and operations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I got like the very like the meat and potatoes of like who I am, because she literally, like, between like not having childcare, always being at work, she works 7 days a week. Literally, she was like, okay, after school, you got to walk here. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so she was a very like strict disciplinarian in that she, outside of like corporal like ruling and punishment, she did well to teach me how to navigate and to present myself in the world.
Yeah.
Because I, like, again, with my parents never being married, I tried to be like both of them
Yeah.
simultaneously, and
Yeah.
not having like my own essence and presence. And then during that time, that was like I already knew. And then I'm like, I'm a gay man through and through. Like I know
Right.
this, or I'm a gay boy. But it was really difficult being raised in this environment, and them not, I won't say not having the education to understand a gay child, but them not wanting to
Right.
operate in the education. And that's, that's something that's reoccurring in our community when it comes to
Cultural.
Black men.
Yeah, it's cultural.
So I did a lot of hiding
Mm-hmm.
personally,
Mm-hmm.
in and outside. I went through many, 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 many phases as far as like outside appearance.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like I got to high school, Scripps Ranch High School, beautiful Scripps Ranch High School, that I started to like really embrace myself. Because the year prior, my eighth grade year in summer, I came out over MySpace. I was like, look, y'all, I posted a bulletin on MySpace, like, I'm gay. This is what it is.
Yeah.
It changed my life
Yeah.
because that's how my mom found out entirely. You know, obviously mothers have their speculations,
Yeah.
but that's how she found out entirely. And it really took her a long time to navigate around me
Yeah.
because I know she had already had her own run-ins with gay men
Yeah.
being, you know, coming before me. I had a cousin who had a run-in and they were really close. So it's just like a lot of things. Like my upbringing as far as like disciplinarian with my mom being the person who had sole custody of me, she was strict. And like in retrospect, speaking about it now, I'm like, damn, like she did not do as bad as I thought she did.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, I don't know if that answers the complete question of where I'm from,
It
but yeah,
did.
I've lived all over San Diego, but I'm back home now.
No, that's good. And I love a good, because that was the same thing. My grandmother, we all started in the projects, and I mean the bottom, we had nothing. And there's still remnants of that in my family. But I'm my grandmother's firstborn
Mm,
grandson. My mother and my father were absentee in my life. My mother did drugs for 25 years of my life. It started when I was about 6 or 7, five actually, 5 or 6. And then my father, mental illness. They both had mental illness. So they passed that to me. So when I went to college and turned 19, that's the age where all of the stresses and you're away from home. I was diagnosed bipolar type 1, PTSD because of my childhood and moving around from different relatives, them trying to raise us, and then acute anxiety disorder. So, I've had 15 years of therapy, but my parents were not there. So I still, like, my grandmother is my mother. Is
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
my mother. And the family, it's really funny how my family is, because there's a lot of jealousy in my family before I even knew who I was, because all of my grandmother's children, with exception to my mother, were gay and lesbian. So you would have thought that, when me knowing myself young like that, I would have had open arms, been received with open arms, and been shown the ropes. But
Right.
instead, religion, and it was them being born again and denying their flesh and fasting until these things were changed. And so it was a mess. And to this day, it's still a mess. I have one aunt who is finally living in her truth, and I'm so happy for her. She married a beautiful woman, and they're good. The others are still on that, oh, I want Jesus to love me, and this is that and the other. So they can't take me, and especially this child, they can't take this. They can't. I started I was a young fashion model in Paris at 22, running from my childhood, running from molestation, rape, and abuse, and all the stuff that happened, because there were no watchdogs.
Right.
You know how in your family you have watchdogs. I didn't have that. But yes, you answered that question. So I want to say, so okay, so you get out of high school, you find yourself, you know who you are. Did you enter college at that time, or did you go into the workforce?
So simultaneously, I did community college simply
Mm-hmm.
because, like, you know, like my mom, she presented to me. She was like, either you gonna get a job or like you got to go to school, but I'm not paying for you to go to school. You have to pay
Right.
for it yourself.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to interpret that simply because I wasn't seeing my younger sister, who's 7 years younger than me,
Right.
as the human presence that she is. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm
Right.
like, damn, mom, like I have all these goals and dreams, and you're telling me I have to pay for it myself. So that was like my young, immature teenage mind.
Mm.
So I entered the workforce. I worked with her over the summers at her company here and
Mm.
there, but because I'm like, this is a lot of time with you, mom. I'm like at home, at school, in the car all the time. I'm like, I need to like branch out. So
Right.
I started working for Target
Okay.
right out of high school. That was great. I mean, I held like little gigs here and there, but that was like my first, like, I applied to this job. I wanted to work here. I rose up the ranks. I was like fortunate enough to actually I just left the company. I worked with them from 2010 up until 2000, or this year, 2021 actually.
Yeah.
And I was like just between here and the East Coast. That was fun.
Yeah.
I learned a lot working for a corporation in that capacity.
Yeah.
I got to really, really learn how to manage not only my time, but large groups of people and kind of like learn. Oh my goodness.
Give them a
Oh,
second.
sorry about that.
That's okay.
Sorry. I'm on my phone. So,
That's okay.
um,
You didn't put on the do not disturb.
yeah, no, I set an alarm so I wouldn't forget. And like, I
Oh,
don't want to like continue to like swipe in and out. So I'm just like swiping it up.
yeah.
But yeah, like Target really taught me a lot because that was like my first round of college, like because they
Yeah.
have a business college that they allow. So I I was between here, San Diego, Columbia, South Carolina, and then Charlotte, North Carolina. And I learned a lot. Got to visit the headquarters in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
But because I am and always will be a free spirit,
Yes.
it just didn't satiate me entirely.
Mm.
I'm like, I want
Yeah.
to do other
Wait,
things.
hold on. I love this. I love this. But I'm a wordsmith, baby. You said satiate, honey. You here trying to woo. All right. I love because I love words. I love words. But
Same.
go ahead.
But yeah, it wasn't satisfying by any means, and
Mm-hmm.
I really felt like I was giving my time and not yielding what I knew my capacity could yield.
Yeah.
So I did it. I stopped pushing so hard to like be a career girl at Target.
Right.
Um, and from there, I went to Starbucks just because I love the rapidity of work and like being a dancer. I'm like, oh, this is like right in my alley. It's routine. Like it's coffee, it's Starbucks. I grew up going there. Like it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
So I did that.
You
So I
used,
started.
if I can interject, I remember your social media. You used to dance in the Starbucks and make videos dancing in the Starbucks. Like I would be like, look at him. You would be behind the counter and be just you're closing up and you would be giving it to us.
Yeah, I would be bored. Like, and it like it wasn't always busy. So I'm like, I'll be busy. Let me keep myself busy. I've done my cleaning. I've done what I need to do. My routines are set. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd use it as time to continue to hone the craft that is true and near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, college, like I did community college, like I said, and that was really fun. But I I wanted the entire college experience. I wanted to
Right.
live that. I wanted to be on campus. I wanted to have access to my classes,
Yeah.
all of that. So I did a lot of like staying on campuses with like fraternities and such, which
Yes.
really helped me to like embrace who I am presently.
Yeah.
And that led me to go to live in Mexico for 6 months because I met someone at a club. And it wasn't even a club. It was like one of these little 18 and up gay events. So I did that. And then what we would do was go down to Mexico because there you could like the legal age is 18 out there. So they had a whole bunch of like gay establishments, like right as you cross from San Diego into Tijuana, and like you can like go further into Mexico. But there's one club that I frequented and ended up meeting a guy out there who is actually the reason why I even inducted myself into the porn industry because
Let's talk about that. But keep going.
Yeah.
We got plenty of time. I made sure today we would have plenty of time. It's all yours, baby. Give us the motherfucking tea.
Yeah. So I ended up like we met at the club and it was just like I was like, damn. Like my best friend at the time, every time we would go, because they had open bar from 10 to 12.
Yes.
So we hop in there, hop in line, and literally like load ourselves up on drinks. And then that was our routine. First 2 hours, we get loaded. Then the next 2 hours, we about to go mingle and find our boys. And then when we get ready to leave, we gonna like either like keep them or we gonna keep on going to the next bar, the next club. We will party from like 10 a.m. or 10 at night until 7 a.m. and then cross back to our cars and like repeat it on Sunday. But this particular person, he walked in and I saw him. I was like, oh, hey, Nick, I found mine. Like, there he is. And I trailed that man the entirety. Like, it was ridiculous. It was so crazy. And then we met in the bathroom. And then from there, I don't really remember how we continued to connect, but we were we stayed glued to each other for the entirety of that night. And then he was already like in an established relationship, so they
Oh.
invited me in. I was the
Oh, okay.
third.
I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I was a third in a relationship that went on for 6 months. I would literally like, that's they were the people that I saw daily for a very long time, and
Oh,
it it was a beautiful experience
yeah,
because it really taught me to mature,
yeah,
and then to put that kind of like that duality about myself being
yeah,
raised between two households to use
yeah,
effectively, to
yeah,
where it wasn't like I'm not like I don't know who I am
yeah,
because I have to code switch here and code switch there. But with them, like I was in the middle of being able to code switch, and like they were right in front of me.
yeah.
So I share this example because like I've never seen my parents together.
Right.
So like to have two people that I feel completely comfortable, safe with,
Yeah,
communicating in different ways with,
yeah,
and still being understood and being valued, being loved, cared for, things of that nature. It was really, really, really validating.
yeah,
Not that I was like looking for it, but it was like internally validating to the point of like, damn, like I am who I am. And like they see me in my crop tops, they see me in the dress that I wear, they see me being wild and crazy, but also like loving and having a luster for life.
yeah.
Um,
They loved your,
so
they loved your little
I
self,
love them too.
your
Oh
little
my
chocolate self.
God.
They was like, here we got this little chocolate sexy drop. We're not gonna let him go. Six
Oh
months.
my gosh. Yeah. So that it was really fun. And then again, like they are the reasons why I even like decided to go the route of like joining the industry, because once it ended, because they were already like 10 years established.
Right,
You know, I'm and they're 3 and 4 years my senior. So
right.
um like I just didn't know like what had happened, because they were working on their relationship at the time. They were like, okay, so we're just gonna not really eliminate the variable that is Miller, but just like we have to work on us. So sorry. And that wasn't the explanation. I was left with like my own speculations and my own conclusions to build as to like why
Yeah,
what happened, what happened. But I vowed to myself, once I like saw that they were like doing like BuyLatinMen.com, I was like, oh, I'm about to join this industry and we gonna see each other again. And like I literally, no one knows this, but that is the reason. Literally, I planned, and like I was 18 and 19 at that time. 19 when I established a plan, and I didn't join until I think I was 25,
yeah.
because the opportunity oh my God, I will never forget that either. The opportunity was there, and like I got in the call. I'm not sure if you know what the Maverick Men are.
Yes.
I love them, watch them often, still to this day. But I had connected with them, and the opportunity was there, but it was the same day as my great grandmother's funeral. And I was like, nope, because I'm gonna be cursed for life. I am not doing this. I'm sorry, y'all. It ain't happening. And it didn't happen until 6 years later. So
Oh, okay.
um I value that I waited, and like waited authentically. It was like, and I went with my gut,
Yeah.
because now that,
Give
oh
him
my,
a moment.
I do apologize, y'all.
Take your time. There we go. So Maverick Men, you were saying it happened 6 years later, and you were saying,
Yes.
yeah,
So yeah, joining, I didn't want to join because like the opportunity presented itself on the date of my great grandmother's funeral, so I just didn't go with it. And then I waited to authentically join when I like had a little bit more awareness of myself first and foremost, and
right.
then of like my role, because
Yeah.
like one thing, because of like the way that they did things, I was like, I think I might like that. And then
Yeah, they crazy. Shout out
but I
to the
was
Maverick
also
Men. Y'all
shout
crazy.
out
Y'all
to, yeah,
crazy. They
shout out.
are. Yeah.
I love them. But I was still in that area of like, who am I? Like
Yeah.
I know that like I am attracted to men undeniably.
Yeah.
Um, I know that like it'll never be a time where I won't be attracted to men. So there was just a lot of like, I won't even say turmoil, but there was a lot of like understanding that was going on with me, where I was like, how, like, what do I like? What do I do? And at the time, like embracing myself during like my teenage years, I was just obviously exuding myself in the presence of a top, because I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a penis, I'm a man, like this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But the enticement of bottoming was always something that was just always there.
Mhm.
And oh, the first time I bottomed, oh God.
Oh, what was it like? What was it like? What was it like? What was it like?
Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm not gonna give the nitty-gritty details. I'll just say that it was very, 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 very great.
Okay, okay. I was gonna
It
say,
was
yeah,
great. It
my
was
first time was
absolutely
beautiful. Yeah, my first time was beautiful as well.
and it wasn't like remembering it. I'm just like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely that. And now that like I've gotten in my mind that like, yeah, I'm a bottom through and through. I don't want to even like say that I'm not. I will never say that I'm not. I'm just now that I'm embracing it
Mhm.
entirely.
Uh-huh.
I really want to, again, to like rebrand the presence of who I am, because just because of like endowment, I'm like people see me as this thing and want me to be that. But as far as presence goes, I'm like I'm not. I'm very androgynous in myself.
But I love what you just said. You slipped that by our watchers. He said, because of endowment. Y'all go look up Miller Axton and you will find out that he is quite hum. Okay, so that's what he was saying. He's very articulate, like I am, but I'm breaking it down for the streets because he got a big old thing. They want him to get that thing to thangin'. Okay, all right. But you know what's so funny? To be honest with you, I saw you in Young Perps and you were bottoming, and I was like, oh yes, you were giving me what I needed, and I was like, yes, he is amazing. Like everything from the chair scene where he's sitting down and you're bouncing on top, it was great. But get this, then you topped Phoenix Fellington, honey. I have that video. I bought that video. I bought that video.
Yeah.
I bought that video. But you're right.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. But get it, because it was different.
Yeah.
I knew that it wasn't something that was going to happen all the time. And it was like a rarity. And you were so good at it. And just because you're good at it, listen, just because you got a dick don't mean you want to use it all the time.
Right.
So it's perfectly all right. But I saw you in both capacities. And I'm glad that you have chosen your position, because it does, like, it takes a long time. For 8 years, I was a bottom to one man. And then I woke up one day and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't feel comfortable doing this. I'm a blouse, which is a feminine top. And I thought the relationship, because I never had a boyfriend, so we were just like in a sexual situation. So I thought that was going to be over. And he turned. He was like, oh, all right, we could do this. And it was the hottest thing I'd ever experienced.
That's God.
Yes, because I was, but it was more so not even the position that mattered. I got to be myself. I got to finally be with someone and show me. And I thank him for that to this day. Like it led to a string of situations. But he was the first, and it was really a good thing. So keep talking. Because of endowment, they expect you to do this, but you really are embracing the fact that you're a bottom, and that is good. And we need you to be. Yes, we love you to be, and we want you to be. So keep going.
Yeah. So yeah, that just honestly, like, in that I think the more and more that I experienced the industry, and like individuals in the industry that let me know, and like I'm big on energy and like the esoteric and like vibrations, everything. So with like, and I was in a relationship simultaneously, like, oh my God, this was in 2018. That's what like ultimately like kind of like got me to the point where I was like, oh goodness, like dang, I'm really like, I have the capacity to balance work, life, personal life, friends, things of that nature. But because so much was happening all at once, and I was literally, I'm telling you, I used to drive all over this goddamn country so I can like, I'm gonna make it to Texas because my grandma like needs me here, and I'm gonna go back to LA because like my ex-boyfriend here. Okay, now I have the worship, like all this stuff. I was doing it, and in the midst of doing it, I didn't realize and like take inventory of the fact that like this is my life.
Yes.
And I really want to do this.
Yeah.
So now that like I'm sitting and like actually like kind of like being present and taking inventory of that fact,
Yeah.
it's still kind of surreal that like, wow, like I made it in that industry.
Yeah.
And my traction was built from the many fans who really showed support. And I will be completely transparent with you. I did not know how to process that shit because like when I went to I was in Dallas and someone literally was like, "Hey," and like I'm like, and this like I'm like my mind isn't there obviously
Yeah.
because like I was tending to family out there, so I'm like
Yeah.
literally everything is like about my family, and
Yeah.
like that really like I was like, yes, that's me,
Yeah.
and like the the cognitive aspect of really owning and embracing my persona as Miller Axton
Yes.
and authentically allowing myself, I won't
Yes.
say to believe that I am Miller Axton, but to trust and to know like, hey, you chose this for yourself.
Yes.
Like, so be that. So
Yeah.
it took a lot to really get there. So I
Mhm.
deviated from like speaking what we were talking about, but
No, it was
I
great.
it's just it's like it's surreal because now that I'm owning it
Yeah.
and I'm not allowing myself to be hindered by friends, family, things of that nature. I'm literally I've become a businessman in the regard of Miller Axton and the brand that is.
Yep.
I'm non-negotiable about how I'm presented and
Yep.
like who I decide to be with
Yep.
because like I was treated good,
Yeah.
extremely well, and
Yeah.
I was treated like crap within the industry. So
Yeah.
now that like I know better, so to
Yeah.
speak, I don't I'm not I'm a, I love sex.
Yeah.
I'm a nymphomaniac and I will never lie about it. Like I that's one thing I just and that's why like it clicked in my head to even like continue on with the industry after
Right.
I even like I was just like, look, this is who I am. I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. I'm like praying to God, like I'm sorry, but this is
Don't be
me.
sorry. Don't be sorry. Don't be
so
sorry.
so now it's impactful for me because and embracing this, I learned so much throughout time.
Yeah.
I've learned to just really maneuver myself and align myself with those who are in the same mind frame as I am because as like I was saying, like I firmly believe of of this industry and like I firmly believe in it first and foremost, but I also believe that the artistic nature of the ritual that is sex has been completely diminished
Yes.
because like people are and like to like speak what you were to touch on what you were speaking about as far as like men and like the inner workings of the mind and like
Yes.
that like kind of like alpha bravado
Yeah.
machismo attitude that ensues with like people being dominant like okay we can be all of that but still capture it in a way that's beautiful. It can
Right.
still be rough and kinky, but it can also be captured beautifully to the point where like anybody who wants to or is thinking about or has inclinations towards
Yeah.
exploring their sexuality, they can do so without fear.
Yeah.
And like that's my thing because once I operated in the whole like mantra that is like global
Yeah.
everything you want in life is on the opposite side of fear.
Yeah.
Once I started to really embrace that and live that as it pertains to my presence within the industry,
Yeah.
I like the veil was lifted. I
Mhm.
wasn't seeing through cloudy eyes. I wasn't wearing rose-colored glasses. I'm like, I see this clearly and concisely, and I love this. And I will like we've had our differences, but I will thank Austin Wilde from Guys in Sweatpants because I was fully immersed in the industry, and while like I ain't gonna lie, I talked my shit. I did my dues because I felt like I was cheated as far as he's concerned. But I will never deny him like the how he showed me. He showed me. He took me to a business convention,
Yeah.
and I had a seat at the table with like the business owners of sites. So that's one thing. that I will always value working with him for is
Yeah.
because he definitely was a huge proponent in me learning the business side entirely,
Yes.
and not just being like, hey, go in there willy-nilly, jump headfirst into something and not know what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
Like, he let me know the business aspect, and I will always thank him for that, despite what transpired between us. And like, I hold myself accountable because I wasn't coming from the mindset of like being a business. I was like
Right.
more so like that whole, like, to touch on like the way I was brought up, it was more so the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it took a long time for me to like shed that layer of belief and
Yeah.
like allow it to stop limiting me, as like it's $1 billion industry, and like
Yes.
there's so much in it, and like it will never go away, because without sexuality and sex, the world's gonna stop.
Exactly. It's
So
one of the industries where it will never go away. Entertainment, child care, food, clothing, and maintenance of the body. Those are like the 5 businesses that you can get into, because people, no matter if we're in a depression, they're going to spend their money. They're going to spend their money on their homes, on their children, on their clothing and their food, but also to be entertained, to make them take their mind off of what's going on. They're going to be entertained. Yeah.
exactly.
So moving forward, and see, this is the thing, because this happened to me as well. I'm a recording artist. That's really what I do.
I was just listening to Stoic because I was
Oh
like
my God,
watching.
somebody said Stoic yesterday. You guys,
Yeah,
it was my first international song. Yeah, everybody loves
yeah.
Stoic. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, come on, catch, hey. So be on the lookout for some dance videos, because I got you.
Yeah.
I love it. I love your work.
Love it. Thank you. But what I'm saying is, and I want them to catch that, is it happened to me as well. Like, I started as a model, Paris, and I'm doing what I have to do, and I'm trying to be a nameless, faceless figure, hanger, walking down a runway. And there were things that even came with that just were like, oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. And I saw a lot. I saw the drugs, I saw the sex, I saw a lot of things that I was not ready for. And then being bipolar, it triggered me in the worst way. So I was there 6 months. The last 2 months I spent in a hospital because I had to get myself together. I was really like burnt out. But what it did was, when I came back here, that was 17 years ago. So what happened was, I'm 39, I'll be 40 this year. So what happened?
No way.
Yes way. Yes way. Yes way. Yes way. I'm 39, I'll be 40. Yeah, in September. I'm a Libra.
Yes,
But
God.
yes, God. Oh, yes, God, and bless God. But but no, I really on that track, I decided that, because I had to take a moment away. I took a long time away. And I had 15 years of therapy. I started dealing with my childhood. I started dealing with my inner child. I started dealing with the abuse. I started dealing with the violations, the rapes, the molestations. I started dealing with all of that. And then once I got all of that out of the way, it allowed me to look at my entertainment industry position and say, you know what? Hollywood, no. Major record label, no. Because I needed, like you said, to be treated a certain way. And I had seen and been mistreated. So I was like, nope, nope. So what I did was, in the last 6 years, I created this character known as the Queen of Shade. So been in for 20, but the last 6 years of it, the Queen of Shade came. And the Queen of Shade was the culmination of a lot of research, a lot of business courses, a lot of talking to mentors, a lot of, I got to own this. This is my brand, and this is where we're going. And I have enjoyed a lot of success, and it just continues to evolve. But it was like you said, I didn't have a seat at the table. I had to build my table. I am the table, basically. But like you said, I wasn't just going into things and happy because somebody was giving me a shot, happy because somebody was giving me attention. Now it's like, oh, you want to offer me something? Please send me your offer, and then I'll have my lawyer look at it, and then we'll get back to you in 48 hours. You like, it is really because there is a need with me. I have a need because of being burned. I have a need to protect myself. I have, and it's almost an obsession, because like people are like, oh, you need to go to Hollywood. You need to do this, that, and the other. You need to do. And I'm like, nope, this is the career, what you see right here. The internet is what I always wanted to do. It revived my career. I'm not going out there and doing nothing. Now, I do have an aspect of my business where I do motivational speaking. I do mentoring, but my mentoring is like this as well. But when I go to speak, I will go out. But that's the thing. It ain't cheap, because they're expecting this to show up, not me without makeup and so it gets costly, and I have to charge them. But I learned, and in the learning process, the business side is what got really interesting to me. It's what I love more than anything I do. This, because of being in fashion, I can come up with something crazy off the top of my head. It takes me 15 minutes to write a song, because I'm a shaman. So I hear my ancestors. I hear those of my family members that have gone on, so I hear that a lot, especially with the gift of prophecy, and I'm an oracle, and, a healer, a seer. I got a lot of things going on with me. So this I can do in my sleep. That business side, I'm like, yeah, like I get into that. That's where I'm like, okay, let's read this. Let's like that's what really interests me. And this is going to segue into my next question, because now that you are saying, the business side is what you have really gotten into, and what you see that you need to be if you are going to maintain longevity in this industry. So with that being said, do you see yourself working with the studios in the future, or just maintaining something like what Phoenix Fellington did with Playfella, and doing it all on his own? Like, do you see yourself going from time to time into a studio situation?
So like when I mentioned I have something in the works, like I'm currently, I've already drafted the business plan, but like now I've gotten to a point where I want to do my own studio, simply because, again, I want to cast models in the light that they can look back on and be like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
With the same, that was me, you know. Not to say that I have any regrets, because I don't. I valued every opportunity, every experience that I've had within the industry thus far.
Right.
But if I had like my druthers, I would definitely direct more of my scene work. But again, because I'm a fly on the wall type of individual when it comes to a new type of territory. Or a new situation. I'm always very pensive and very observant, and people misinterpret that as like, are you listening? Or damn sure listening, damn sure watching. So I share that because that's how I maneuvered and operated. I was just always quiet and listening to the hustle and bustle, seeing how the gears turned, seeing how the director spoke to the model, seeing how the teams communicated with each other. And that's, I think, what got me to the point where I was before, because I was just always so quiet, and people always say, be careful of the quiet ones. But it was just me absorbing and learning, so that, not to say that I had intentions of like trying to like tangent off into my own thing, but I like the performative aspect of it, but I'm also, like I told you, like I love sex. So like doing it for work was one thing. That's what in like regard to the relationship that I mentioned, or that's what kind of like threw off the balance, pH balance of my relationship, because I'm big into academics. So my ex is a PhD in developmental biology. So there was a lot of things that had happened where I believe, because I was so transparent with him when we first started dating, like, hey, look, this is what I've been doing. I'm doing it. So, and like, it's my line of work. I apologize. I'll stop if you want me to. And like, I'll, seek other avenues or whatever the case is. But he was supportive. But I realized that kind of like tainted him.
Yeah.
And because like I said, I'm big on the academics and like, learning, education, things of that nature. It really, really hurt me that he like denied it, but then started to immerse himself in it outside of the relationship. So that really, like, it was just a thing. It was just like, shit, like, damn, what did I do to this man?
Yeah.
So I share that because that's been a huge reason why again, because like we tried our hand at like OnlyFans, things of that nature, but because of like the artist in me, especially him, I didn't want to cast him that way. Like I didn't want him
Right.
to be presented that way in the event that something ever came to fruition. Again, I won't lie. Okay, so complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And like I've been in therapy for since I was 14. So yeah, 15 years at this point. I'm about to be 30.
Yeah.
And my present therapist now, he's seen my entire family. So once I sought him out,
Yeah.
because I had dreams like, oh, chambers, blah, blah. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I found him, and he, a gay black man, did a really good job of helping me to sift through all the crap that
Yeah.
was bogging me down
Mm-hmm.
and hindering me from stepping into the capacity of being a business owner with regards to the presence that is Miller Axton.
Yeah.
Um, so like again, like I had no intentions of like tanging off and doing my own thing because of the studios that I worked with, and I built some really good relationships with like with and D'Angelo, things of that nature, Normel. There's certain individuals in the sectors of the studios that I maintain relationships with. I haven't talked to a lot of them in a long time just because I was getting myself together, but I believe I would give opportunity, but not as a performer. I
Right.
would love to operate in the capacity of actually being like a staff member, like I won't say production staff, but like writing or directing.
Yeah.
I had a couple opportunities to write for Normel, but just timelines didn't match up.
Yeah.
And I'm very particular about my art, especially with it being like a Black focused
Yeah.
studio. I really wanted to allow authenticity to reign supreme and not have it be some type of like general stereotypical
Yeah.
showing or showcasing of Black man, like the whole hood thing. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but no, it's been done, and it's not that effective in my opinion.
Right.
And
Right.
that's a too. I have a lot of opinions. I have strong opinions because
Right.
I put my mind to my opinions, not just willy-nilly saying things.
Yeah.
So that is probably the reason why I would say I wouldn't commit entirely to working with the studios. Next door, I will definitely work with Next Door again, just because like as far as production staff and like the business side,
Yeah.
they are a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Well-oiled machine, and they get it done. And as far as like acting the part,
Yeah.
Walden Woods is one of the directors. Like literally, he got me right. He was all like, you just you don't have to like love it, but you just like you do it. He gave me a lot of good speeches to life as it pertains to the role of work.
Right.
And I will always give him his credit when it comes to that too, because he showed me that I can do this
Yeah.
in the capacity of like having it be work.
Yeah.
So
I didn't want to
um
interrupt you, but it sounded like the mic is like doing, I don't know if you're hitting it.
oh, can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I could hear you, but it sounded like when you were moving, I could hear it like,
Oh, the wind is blowing outside, so I apologize.
ah,
I'm gonna hold it now.
I didn't want to, no, I didn't want to interrupt you because you're giving this manifesto and it's so beautiful. And furthermore, like, you know, I like, because I know people, like one of my babies from Philadelphia, you know him as well. He was on the team with you and Judas King and, you know, Poppy Suave. I know him. I love him. He was here over Thanksgiving. We went out, had our own kind of like Thanksgiving celebration. We ate Caribbean food and things like that. And then he was one of the early interviews that I did. And, you know, we did the interview and it was great. It was amazing. And then he called me and he was just like, I need to say more.
Mm.
And I was like, what's wrong? And by this time, I had taken my makeup off. I was in my bed. And he was like, I need to talk about the assault.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started talking and I did like a whole, like kind of like did like debrief of what happened, and I walked him through, and he was very thankful for that. But I said all that to say this: what people don't understand about even the inner, like the adult film world, is that there are writers, there's a script, there's a director, there's production, there's a whole team. And see, this is the thing. People think, and OnlyFans is great. I support many, many men on OnlyFans. But when you walk into a production studio that is established, you could be having sex in front of 15 people. And they don't get that. And then the young person getting into porn, that sometimes is traumatic, because it's like all these people are watching me and I have to focus on this person and not look at the camera. And I've seen people accidentally look at the camera and then look away. And it wasn't planned, because sometimes it's planned. They tell you, look at the end, look at the camera. But no, like I've seen people like be uncomfortable. And that's the thing, because see, it's kind of crazy because I'm kind of a porn connoisseur. I've been celibate for 10 years now. It'll be 10 in August. But the only reason why I went celibate, because I love sex too. I have a very high sex drive. The reason why I went celibate was so I could focus on this. So I could build the machine that is the Queen of Shade, not just the visual, the lawyer, the accountant, the business plan, the everything behind the scenes. I had to focus on, and even the creation, I had to focus, so I could not be having the type of sex that I had, which was, I'm polygamous. So I love, so I'm just like, the same person. What you mean the same person? Like, like I would have multiple partners. So my thing was, that required too much of my energy, and it would take away from my focus into building this to be something that could really sustain itself forever. And that's the thing. I have these 60-second videos, which brought me fame. That's what did it. I had these 60-second videos where I would give kicking the ass advice and inspiration and motivation. And I would tell you, those things. And those things are on my Instagram page, but I'm moving them to my monetized YouTube and to other areas, my website. But that's what I did. And I did that 6 years straight. Like I did that. My anniversary is literally New Year's Day. My grandmother was in the hospital with an inflamed gallbladder, needing surgery. And one of my friends, Talk Gay with Faye, his name is Philando Jackson. He shared one of my videos, and it was 15 seconds at that time. That was what Instagram was allowing. And it went viral. And I'll never forget, I went from 10,000 followers to 22,000 in one night. And it was just like, it was happening for me. I had celebrities coming to me. I had people writing me. So I had to focus, because I now had the world's attention, the attention that I have been trying to get for so many years. I had it. So I had to I did something which we call, and you'll probably know this, transmutation, when you take energy of one place and place it into another. So that's what I did. I took it. I'm, like I said, very sexual. So I took all of that energy and put it into my business, and it built it to what it is now. And now I'm not even doing the 60 seconds, even though I could continue to do them until the cows come home. I really could. It's a part of me. I channel. My ancestors are with me. I'll never run out of anything, like things to say, because I'm tapped into an infinite source. Therefore, I am infinite. Therefore, there is an infinite amount of things to say. Even if it's the same topic, it'll never be said the same way. So that's what it did. It allowed me to focus. And like you said, excuse me, this is the business side. And I got so enraptured with the business side. I got so enraptured with budget and, writing things off and learning how to get the right tax cuts. If I go on a trip, work on the trip, write the trip off, write off a portion of the trip. Like I learned so much. And I have an amazing lawyer who is in Fresno, and I have an amazing accountant who is in Ohio. And that allowed me to kind of manage my business to where now I can pick this up and take it anywhere in the world. And my thing is, I want to go back to Paris. I always even when I left my heart there. I belonged there. They were nice to me. They were
Mhm.
kind to me. They understood my flamboyance as not just being, oh, he wants to be a girl. It was art. It was art. Like you said, the sexual experience should be art. And that sometimes is lost. And that's what I noticed, that Hollywood and the offers that I have gotten here, they want to chop down the art and make it something palatable for middle America. And I'm not for middle America. Some of the people that I've interviewed are my friends from Paris. They're celebrities. They're huge, they're rich, and they're famous all over the world. I have a friend in Spain who's a haute couture designer. The shit, a blouse could cost you $5, $6, $7, $8,000 or more. And it's just like, those are the people that I was hanging out with, that I do hang out with. And I had an executive say to me one time, years ago, when I was just starting, he said, don't go to the record labels. Don't go to these, already established conglomerates, because you won't be able to rep your brand. You'll then become a part of their brand. So, so what he said was, make friends. And that's what I did. I made wealthy, well-to-do, well-known friends, and they have helped me the whole way. Like, they have helped me even with financial investing and just capital and, just travel and all kinds of things. They have really helped me. So I'm glad that we're talking about this, because I want people to understand this is a business. You get so many young babies and they're like, because they want the fame, they want the attention. And that is something that I must confess, I'm 39 now. When I was 22, I had never been successful in my life. I had never succeeded at anything, that, so I thought, besides graduating from high school. My college career, I had to be medically withdrawn from college because of the illnesses. And I just felt that I had never succeeded at anything. So I needed to succeed. Like, I needed this to work, and I needed to give it the time and attention that I gave it. And I thank God today it is what it is. But the fame back then, it was like, yeah, I want the fame because I want you to see, y'all said I was nothing. Y'all said I'd never be anything. Y'all said I wouldn't have anything. Y'all said from the projects I came, and from back to the projects I would go. And then the fame happened, and it is what I don't want it, because I have success, true success, and longevity. And when you have success and longevity, and you're not a trend or a fad, money is a byproduct of it. Prestige, a byproduct. Deals, a byproduct. Endorsements, a byproduct of success. So I really do, like, I hide in my house even now. I don't go out like this. I don't go anywhere like this. My curtains are drawn. Like, I have all heterosexual men that live around me in this townhouse complex. And they're always like, you're so beautiful. And why are you hiding? And you don't have to hide. Nobody's going to bother you if we're here, that kind of thing. And, but it's still America. And America, if they can't understand you, they destroy you.
Mhm.
And I'm just not. I've worked, like you said, 15 years of therapy on your end, 15 years of therapy on my end. That's 30 years of therapy between us. I didn't come this far to have somebody attempt to destroy me. I don't even want to know the levels of anger that I would go to. So
Right.
yeah, so I just avoid. I just don't even. So my attitude is, I'm working to leave, and I'm working to leave. I don't want anything. People, oh, well, you can use this for leverage to get a career or a show. And I'm like, you don't understand. There's a business plan behind this. This is the show. The internet,
Hello.
yeah, the internet is very lucrative. You can make a lot of money on the internet. I'm good. I like, literally, I have dreams. There's this chateau that I want in the countryside of France. It's $4 million. I gotta make a lot of money, because my grandmother always says that it's one thing to get it, but you gotta maintain it and you gotta keep it. And
Right.
that's a lot more money. So I don't have that yet. But I want to literally be able to portion off 3 rooms, 1 room wardrobe, 1 room production, 1 room my studio, and be able to work in my house and not have to leave unless I'm going to the bakery or, or to the village to go, so like as a 40-year-old man who has had a very rough life and has had people systematically trying to destroy me, my family included, I just want my own space where I can do what I can do. And this allows me that safe space, because when they see this, no matter if the comment is positive or negative, I already did the shit. Y'all seeing it, not y'all seeing it after the fact. So I got to do what I wanted to do. And then y'all chimed in with y'all little wicked ass comments. But it don't matter because I did it. And
Right.
that's kind of my attitude. So I'm sorry to hear that, you had to leave, part ways with your ex, because my thing is, you shouldn't have to apologize to your ex, but I know why you did. And I know why you said, I'll stop if I want, because, you know, America has this whole idea of you've got to be buttoned up and you've got to have class and you've got to be well-to-do. And if you do that, it's frowned upon. But you bitches all have sex, more sex than the sex people. More sex than the people in the damn, y'all got bodies. And y'all are giving these beautiful boys, whom are our fantasies, a hard time. It baffles me, because it's like, why should they be made to feel? Why should you be made to feel so bad? And that was the thing I was telling you when I was texting you. I'm just like, you have no idea how much I love you. It borderlines on obsession. It borderlines on obsession, because the screen is different when you're on it. And that's a gift. That's a gift. And I love the fact that you said, no, I love sex and this is my industry and I'm going to stay in it. Like, to me, that right there, because I learned when I embraced my homosexuality, the boys couldn't tease me anymore because I knew what I was. So if you know, this is my industry, this is my brand, this is what I do, what can they say other than, oh, I saw your film, it was good. Literally, Wendy Williams is the same way. She said, people say all kinds of crazy things about her, but she always says, I love you for watching, because you watch. We all do. She
I
said,
love that movie, by the way. I'm happy that you mentioned her.
yeah. Because she's like, listen, I don't care what you think. I care that you watch. It's the same thing with me. And because this is a new platform. I'm literally, I deleted my branded YouTube and started from scratch and brought back all new, organic content. And it's going well. And I even said to one of my interviewers yesterday, interviewees, I text him and I'm just like, what are these people watching? Because I don't see the numbers, I don't see but it's telling me, like, in the last week, I've had 460 watched hours. And these things are long. These things are an hour long at least, and they're watching them. They are watching them. And it just goes to show that whether you have to start over, you're not really starting over, because you have a wealth of information. All the things you did before, you bring into this and whatever you're doing. And I'm saying that because my next statement to you is, we know Miller Axton. We will always love and support you and your brand of being Miller Axton. We love you. And I need you to know that we love you. And please continue to bless the world with your creativity and your body and your beauty and your passion when you do what you do. People that, please, I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Literally, we love you. And a lot of people do. And Eartha Kitt always used to say that after the whole White House fiasco with her and her having to go over to France, she talked about what kept her going was her supporters. Who cares what these people in other parts of government or this or that are saying? The supporters are the ones that pay your bills. I learned that in the phone sex industry. My boss would tell the girls, don't come at them men, because them men call here every day without fail. We were open every holiday, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She was like, these men pay your bills. These men, yeah, that dress you got on, those shoes, those men paid that. So treat them with respect, you know? But you took me there because I needed you to know that. I need you to know that as we continue with the interview. I need you to know you haven't made a mistake. No, you are designed for what you do. And it is wonderful. It is wonderful. And I believe, see, I'm one of those people where I'm not Christian anymore. I left that alone years ago. I'm very spiritual. I'm an African shaman, for God's sake. So my thing is, I know you were created to be gay and to do every single thing that you do. Just like I was created to sit here and wear this old crazy highlight colored wig and this fluorescent. I was created to do this. I was created. This may not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's mine, and it's going to give somebody life. And if it gives only one person life, my job is done. I'm not here to worry about how it hits. Not worried about that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to do it. I'm not here to worry about what the critics say. Once again, critics, after I did the thing. So y'all don't matter. Y'all don't matter. After I did the thing, y'all want to say something? No. So I know you can't talk much about what you have in the works, but I like the idea of you having your own. And I'm going to say this. Please don't retire and just be a production hand or a director. Please don't do that. Please grace us with your full presence.
So, okay, I will be honest and say it's been like since the breakup and everything like that. And like just with like navigating, like I said, like the work-life balance between personal, professional, all of that. I was doing it and not realizing that I was doing it.
Right.
And just like in my car, just like I'm just driving completely tuned out because the open road, you know, that it'll do that to you. Yeah. But like sitting here taking inventory of it now, I'm like, I'm ready to get back to work. Simply because it made me happy. Yes. Every time that like I don't sleep much now anymore just from having the training. But it's like, wow, I really just want to get back to work and create art. And I honestly, the way this whole psyche has been set up, no, I don't think I'll be not in front of the camera because I definitely want to embrace literally the horniness, sexual frustration, whatever it is, and allow it to inspire more than like pleasure, but inspire pleasure, and to inspire individuals to know that like, hey, sexuality is okay. How did we get here? You know, like,
yes.
And that's literally been the basis of my thinking for a long time. And like, I've had to authentically, genuinely, and really, really dissect myself to be able to even like speak about it in this capacity, because just the way that my mother brought me up with regards to homosexual men, it terrified me. So it was always more than it was like me contending with bullies or people who just saw me and was like, oh, you gay. It was more so inner turmoil to the point where I'm like, I am not supposed to be this way. But as far as innately and like naturally occurring feelings went, I'm like, no, this is me, undeniably, 100%, unequivocally. Like, this is me.
Yeah.
So now that like I'm approaching the third decade of my life, or the beginning of the third decade of my life, and taking all of the experiences from the studios that I've worked with, the people that I've met, the encounters that I've had, my own personal things, the family matters, the business matters, every single area, every aspect, every facet of just how the world occurs around me, but not like me revolving or it revolving around me or me revolving around it. It's just like now that I see the world outside of my head, I'm like, oh, I am here. I made it. And I'm going to live my truth to the best of my ability. Do no harm, take no shit, but have a damn good time while I'm doing it all.
Yes.
So it's been a long time coming, and it's been a very like it's been self-realizing more than anything, but I won't say that the road to alignment has been easy, because that shit's hard. It's rough.
Yeah.
And literally allowing like mental health to first completely implode on us, then explode, and then like rebuild ourselves post it. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. But like to come out on the other side and be able to speak about it in a way that is really, really true to the battle or like the road
Yeah.
is something that is it's powerful in and of itself.
Yeah.
But also it like when one looks back on it, like for me, and for instance, like me looking back on all the shit that I like went through and like all of like the roads that I took, and just like, oh wow, like I survived it all,
Yeah.
and like I'm ready to go for round two.
Yeah.
But like I'm not approaching it in a way of like, oh, I'm in danger
Right.
anymore.
Right.
And like not to say that was the case before, but because I was like doing things and like jumping in the bed, and like I don't quote unquote know these people, I'm
Yeah.
like, no, ain't nobody trying to hurt me. I'm
Right.
good.
Right.
So that's how like I think that's how it like took off, because like I was terrified. I will not lie, I was terrified when I started. I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I know these people, like, but having the metamorphosis occur
Yeah.
from October 2017 up until now
Yeah.
was beautiful, because I think once I'm like able to like allow myself the privilege of like, hey guys, this is me. I'm sorry I was going through a lot at the time because I was bouncing. So I was literally like spinning plates with my every ounce of my body on like
Yeah.
one toe. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And not knowing that I was doing it. That's the thing that was occurring. So
Yeah.
now that like I'm out of my head and I'm not like focused on like what my family has to say about anything. Because honestly, the first person I called and told like was my grandma. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I'm doing nudie movies. She was like, you doing nudie movies? I'm like, yes. And so that literally changed everything for me, because she was like, all right, make sure you're good at it, and like make sure you do what you do.
See? See?
And that, oh no, stop because like when she told
See?
me that, literally that changed my world. Because
Yes.
as long as I have one person in my family that supports me, I don't give a fuck who it is, as long
Yes.
as it's her,
Yep.
that's where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So truthfully, in a lot of I haven't watched any of my, like with the exception of like maybe like 2 or 3 videos. I've never watched any of my work. I've watched mine in Phoenix's, but like all of that is authentic.
Yeah.
It's not scripted. It's not acting. It's literally like that's me being the 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 sexual entity that I am.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? And embracing and enjoying my carnality.
Yes.
And that's just the real. That's the
Yeah.
raw, uninhibited Miller Axton. And like I will never deny myself that identification, because it
Yeah.
took a long time to really embrace it and to honor it and to
Yeah.
not be afraid of it, and then just to like live in it. So now that I'm like at this point, I will say thank you for even allowing me this opportunity to speak about it in a way that's completely free of judgment, and then from a relatable place, because I've been like doing my best to like, okay, how am I going to present myself to like my followers? Because I feel fucking terrible, because I was like, I just need to delete this Twitter because my grandma was my focus. You know what I mean? Like that's literally what it was. I was like, her health was declining, so I literally had to make a choice. So I chose her over my ex, over myself, over everything that I was doing, because she chose me. I'm one of 7 by my dad's
Yeah.
children, all
Mm-hmm.
by 7 different women.
Mm-hmm.
So she broke her fucking back to ensure that I'm even here to speak about this. So having trying my best to like navigate that, honor her, honor me, all that stuff. It was hard because I'm like, I know, like I felt terrible because I'm like, how am I going to reach these people? How am I going to do this? How am I like, but I had to
Yeah.
be true to me first and foremost and say like, hey, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for her. So she gets all praise above anybody, above myself.
Yeah.
Because like she's who I move for.
Yeah.
But
We have
like
that in
I
common. We have
yeah,
that in
and
common. My grandmother gave me the capital. My grandmother bought me my first wig. My grandmother bought me my first dress. And it's just like, and the rest of the family was so jealous because, oh, you didn't treat us like that. But she would always say to them, because you didn't stand in your truth. This baby has mental illness and said, fuck you and everybody else who is against me and can't accept me. And I will go out in the world and find somebody to love me. And she said, I don't want him going out there trying to find somebody who's not really going to love him, not really going to know him. So it's got to be me. And my grandmother, oh my God, I've been with my grandmother. We've been a team those 14 years. Yeah, 14, 15 years. We've been a team. And she downstairs right now. I came down because I always, and that's the crazy thing, Miller. I came downstairs so she could see this. And she was like, yep, it's different. It stands out. And I live for that. Just like you're saying about your grandmother, I live for that. Is your grandmother still, did her health improve?
Oh yeah, she's good now. She's back in Texas.
Okay.
So and that's a testament to this woman. She travels between 4 states,
Yeah.
even in the health that she's in, to see all her family, because we've dispersed. We're no longer like collectively in San Diego. I am obviously my mom's still here, so
Yeah.
I stay close to mama all the time despite our differences.
Yeah.
But yeah, she, like, the strength of that woman is something that has given me the strength to do everything that I've wanted.
Right.
And like, when I again take inventory of like the things that I've done thus far, I've accomplished every single feat, every single thing that I've wanted to do as a child. So honoring my child self and then like putting him away to
Yeah.
honor my adult self and to do what I want
Yeah.
is very like, it's so beautiful, because I don't think she realizes, like, despite like sometimes I'd be like, grandma, no, or like this and that, like I whine or whatever, but I'm like, I'd be nothing without her. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So
Do you know what I'm going to remember?
oh,
Like literally, I'm going to remember, Grandma, I'm doing nudie movies. You're doing nudie movies. But you told her. Like, I love that.
because I was like, because like everything happened so fast with
Yeah.
like getting inducted. It happened so fast.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like literally like, I was the day before I was due to like fly out to Vegas, and I'm like calling her. I'm like, grandma, like I'm about to fly to Vegas. I'm about to like record this movie. And like, she's like, what? I was like, I'm doing nudie movies. And like, she's like I heard her go like, and then like she swallowed that real fast and was all like, okay, all right. So when did you decide to do this? I was like, well, grandma, remember, like I always told you I want to do it, blah, 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 like all this stuff. So it was very, I don't know, like just the fact that she's always approached me with that, like that side eye, but like, okay.
Grandma
And
knows.
like,
She knows you. She knows.
yeah, no, yeah.
She knows you. And that let me tell you something. Some people say, oh, you got to go out in the world and find that person that knows you. There will never be anybody that know you like your grandma. Grandmothers have a certain place. They just know you. They just know you. When I said, like, get it. When I did this 6 years ago, when I started this, and my grandma took me to the bank. Now, mind you, she was a teacher, so follow me. She was a teacher, a grade school teacher. So I'm looking, when we got to the bank and we sit down, and this is just a regular bank. This ain't one of them big banks. So I'm like, we had a regular, I think it was a Citizen Bank or something like that. And we sit down with the person, and she looks at me and looks at him and was like, I would like to withdraw $100,000.
Mm.
And I looked at her like, Grandma, you got this kind of money? Like, and this is the thing, like, I don't want to say it because the guy is across the table. So I'm looking at her like, you got this kind of money? What is this money for? And I'll never forget, she said to him, oh, wow. I got emotional for a second. Hold on. It's going to make me run downstairs and hug my grandma after this is over. She said to me, she said, you're worth it. I said, but Grandma, that's a big risk. I'm not making any money. She said, you will. And she literally told that man, I'm withdrawing all my money so that I can invest in my grandson. And he looked at her like, you want it all? She said, it was like 112,000. He was like, yeah. She was like, I want it all. And he was like, what could he say? It was her money. And they were like, and he was like, well, if you want to leave some in, because if you take it all out, it'll close the account. She was like, I know. And she was like, she looked at me and she said, I believe in you. And when that man went and drew up the check, she handed it to me and said, now let's go to your bank so you can deposit it. And that's why people are like, why do you work so incessantly? Because that's my thing. I'm a workaholic. These interviews, it's been 2 months and I got 113 interviews done. And they're like,
I'm on work.
yes, like with the 60-second videos, it was 22,000 in 6 years. Like people don't realize, A, I'm a workaholic, but B, my grandma believed in me. And I ain't gonna never let that investment fall. I am never going to let that investment fall. I'm going to work above and beyond so she get millions back, because the whole family turned against her when she did that. Oh, that's your retirement money. That's your pension money. Why would you do that? And she said, because he needs it. If he going to do it, he going to do it for real. I'm not going to piecemeal him. I'm not going to just give him a little bit, see what he do with it. He need it all. And I erected this entire career with that investment. And it, like, to this day, I can't believe she did it. And get it, she was my business partner at first, and we would have arguments. It would be rocky because of creative differences.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to say, like, when the pandemic hit, I disillusioned my one LLC, which she was my partner, and I waited till the new year came in and I started a new one. And she took the role of advisor, like your grandma is, and our relationship got better. And she said to me, she said, baby, you're right. Because with me, like my grandmother being an educator, a teacher, a shaman herself, she's used to guiding. With me, I needed no guidance. I needed no guidance. And that was the thing that was different for her, because she's like, I done gave you all this money. You ain't gonna listen to me? And I'm like, Nana, trust me, trust me. And then she watched me and she like literally, she sits back now and she just goes, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. She goes, mm-hmm. And I know what her mm-hms mean. And then she told me one day in the car, she was like, out of all my children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, and my grandmother has high expectations for us all. She said, you have exceeded anything I could have asked or thought. And I was just like, I cried. I couldn't believe it. Because I'm just like, to make her proud was really what I was after, no matter what I ended up doing. And you're right, like with your grandma, I could tell my grandma, because listen, I wasn't in the nudie movies, but I had one summer, because you get manic when you're bipolar, you get manic with type 1. I slept with 85 men in one summer. I slept with 85 men. I literally took off 1 week. Like, and I told her all about that. And she was just like, well, she says, well, mania does that to you. And she said, you've always had that high drive. I've always had that high drive. I work out like that. I work like that. I have sex like that. Like, it's always that high drive. So like I told, and she was like, do you think you'll be celibate forever? Because even she says to me, you'll find someone. And I'm like, Nana, I don't want one somebody. I was like, I want a harem. And she was like, okay. Then I went back to her and I was like, on a second thought, I want escorts. Because I was like, I want to be able to pay them. They know what my life is. They get out of my way until I need them again. And she was like, okay. I have those kind of conversations with my grandmother. So when you said that you told your grandmother, we, like, our stories, we have similarities, because I hear the self-actualization in you. You've got like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that whole
Oh
pyramid.
God, yes.
Yeah. So yeah. So, and like, and a lot of gay people, we have to skip love, money, family, and we're forced to go to self-actualization. And that's the hardest. Most people die without ever being fully self-actualized. But for gay people, because the world shuns us so much and bogs us down, it forces us to learn who we are so that we can fight back, so that we can stand and at least hold our heads high on our own ground and be like, well, I know what I am. I know what I am. Like that's, you can't tell me what I am. I know what I am. And then it shuts them up. Self-actualization. So listen, give me 3 words that inspire and empower you. Take all the time you need. We got time.
so equability. So to be
Mhm.
equable,
Mhm.
that's the one, because that's always something that like I aspire to be. I just want to, and my father will call it quote unquote unfuckwittable.
Mhm.
But yeah, to be equable, so that I always enact myself in grace,
Yeah.
in like serenity, but also assertive and non-judgmental,
Yeah.
non-conforming. That's number one. Number two, tenacious.
Mhm.
And that's just because I'm very, like I was saying, I'm non-negotiable in how like I want to move in life.
Mhm.
Because, and this is to quote one of my songs, like I got a lot of mamas that need honoring.
Yeah.
So that's literally all. That's just how I move. I got a lot of lioness energy, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
Um, so equable, tenacious, and forgiving,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I have that tattooed across my chest. Forgive to be forgiven,
Mhm.
but forgiveness, forgiving. That's literally what has gotten me far. And I share that because in a lot of times that like I've had the most adversity, I'm a fighter through and through, and like I was turned into one. So
Yeah.
as soon as I embraced the metamorphosis that was that,
Yeah.
it's kind of like stuck with me, obviously. But now that I'm on the other side of things, and I have allowed myself to no longer be bound by the warrior mentality that I was raised by, because we as Black men, we've survived. We're here. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
And we're going to continue to survive and thrive, and allow this world to see the grandeur of who we are.
Yeah.
Um, I I'll say that now that like I realize that I don't have to fight,
Right.
I can just be who I am.
Right.
That realization is something that, as self-actualizing as it is, it's very, very, very like, oh my God, pinch me because I'm dreaming.
Yep.
Because growing up,
Yeah.
as or being that Black child and seeing all of the craziness that ensued around us, like
Yeah.
that's something that was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I'm not firm into like television media. Like I stopped
Yeah.
watching TV about 5 years ago. So
Mhm.
even with all of like the craziness that's going on as far as like the Black Lives Matter movement and a lot of
Yeah.
things, I didn't give that the attention that the media wanted me to
Yeah.
give it.
Yeah.
I allowed myself to move in life and experience how the streets were working,
Yeah.
whether I was in San Diego or in Dallas, New York,
Yeah.
or any other state like Florida or anything like that. I just paid attention to what was situationally like occurring.
Yeah.
And once I realized that we as Black men, we are safe. We are safe here.
Yeah.
We can be other places without a doubt, but I had to really accept that fact for myself growing up in the way that I did, that I am safe. I am here. I survived, and I can be who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
And like that's the biggest thing that like it's super impactful for me. So I love that for myself now. And like I can't tell you enough. I value this opportunity because like every time like I watch a video of this, I was like, I want to talk to her. Like I'm like, we need to talk because like I know it would be real. There would be no like no holds barred first and foremost, but it wouldn't be anything that's like, oh, we're just doing this for the no. This is some real
Oh,
fucking
this, yeah,
speech right now.
exactly. Exactly.
So
It's up.
I love that you and Mariano are great too, because I love him. I still keep in contact with him to this day. I always try to catch him. He's the only person that like pulled up on me. He pulled up on me on a scooter. I was in LA. I just came from a dance class. I was like, hey, I'm in LA. And like he met me in West Hollywood. He pulled up on one of the little birds because I was like, oh, and it was like so heartwarming because I'm like, damn, like that's love right there, you know?
Yeah.
So that he's one person that like I always give him his kudos because he is a beautiful person
He is.
inside out,
Yeah.
and he don't let
Nope.
nobody run over him, and I love
No,
that.
I love it about
So
him. I told him the other night because I have text messages from him for years, for like the last 6 years. We've been talking and we stay in touch, and he always gives me beautiful messages. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your love to the world. Thank you for what you're doing. So many people are empowered and inspired. And I told him one night, it was like 2 a.m. and I was just thinking about the people that I have in my life that I can really count on, and I can count them on one hand, because this whole, you get people, and you experience this too. You get people that are fame whores. They want to latch on to you because you have a degree of notoriety, and you see them so quickly, and you disengage. But he's one that I texted him, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I'm taking you to Europe with me. He was like, all right. I was like, you have to be around me. I have to be around you. I can't do this without you. Because he's just such a good, genuine person. And like you say, you don't take no shit. When he came back to Philly, I hadn't been into Center City because I live in the Northeast. I hadn't been in Center City in 3 years. And the restaurant that we went to was in the heart of the city, a soul food restaurant. And literally, now mind you, he was in the city. He gets on the train, comes all the way up to the last stop where I'm getting on, hugs me, rides all the way back down into the city. Then when it's time to go, his stop was way before mine. He rides all the way to the end of the train system with me to make sure I get into my car that I, live. And then he then gets back on the train and goes to his stop. I'm like, he's like, ain't nothing gonna happen to you while on my watch. And it just made me feel so good because he loves me and he respects what I do and he respects me. And I'm just like, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. And like, get this. And that's the thing. I have so many friends that are adult entertainers, and I love you guys because you guys hold the keys to society. Because the people are not talking, but y'all the ones hanging out with everybody. Y'all the ones that they flying in and, like to be around them and have rendezvous with and all of that. Like, y'all are the ones. So I love that because it's like, y'all know where the bodies are buried. Like, you like, look here. We like, ain't nobody gonna mess with y'all because a lot of people done paid, done been, done seen, that yeah, it's crazy. And that's why I continue to do it, because I'm just like, my friends, I love you guys so much. I don't want to say his real name, but I got a message on Twitter the other day, and he goes by the boy in the picture. And what he did, he's a beautiful boy too. And he wrote me and it said, I've been watching you since I was 16 years old.
Mm.
I've grown up with you. Please keep doing what you do. And then I was like, oh my God. So like immediately I wrote him like, I want to interview you. So then he texted me today like, hey, it's me. We got to set up a time. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, like y'all not, and my thing is, y'all not going, I'm big like that. Y'all not going to take and come down on my gorgeous Black brothers. Y'all not about to do that. Y'all not about to do, not on my watch, not on my watch, not on my watch. Like, and I've got plans. Like, I've got plans to do, because like I said, I have 4 albums. So, and I have so many more on the way. Like, I'm a writing, like a machine. So like I finished my album and put it out in 2018. And in 2018, I wrote my new album.
Come
And
on.
yeah, that creativity. And I meant to ask you real quick, what is your birth sign?
I'm in Aries, April
Oh,
1st.
see, the opposite of Libra is Aries. We get along real well. So,
My older sister's a Libra, and then
yeah,
so my oldest sibling and then my youngest sibling
yeah.
are both. So I'm like smack dab in the middle, and their
Yes,
birthdays
I
are 3 days
got you.
apart.
Yup, so they got you. They got you balanced. Like, look, bro. Yeah, but I just want to say thank you so much for even agreeing to do this and talk to me. And because what you said, what I said, when this is put up, it's going to help so many people. It's going to help so many people. And it's going to show a side of you that your following, your fans haven't seen, but knew that was there. We knew you were a good guy. We knew you were a nice guy. We knew you were grounded. We knew that. We knew. See, that's what people don't tell you about sexual energy. It is divine. We can feel you. We know. We knew you were a good guy. And today you just came and you brought that goodness and that grace. You have grace with you. And you brought that. And it's just like, oh my God. So listen, tell everybody, because you just came back to social media. So tell everybody where they can find you on social media. So, and I'm going to put all the links, but tell everybody where they can find you.
So my new Twitter handle is Rough Me Up Daddy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rough Me Up Daddy as it's spelled, just common spelling, ROUGHMEUPDADDY. And that's literally like Twitter. I'm building back up.
Yeah.
As far as Instagram, it's Androgywitch. So ANDROGYWITCH. Those are my two platforms right now. I'm working on like my website, things of that nature, to be more like, obviously like more sound with like the business aspects of things, but those two mediums I'll definitely be on. I don't really post a lot simply because like I'm always like just kind of like gears grinding to like work everything out until like I build my team back up, so to speak. But yeah, you'll be able to find me there. And now I've taken to being a lot more responsive. So feel free to always hit me up, message me, anything like that. I am an open book. I love communication. And so long as it's always like the approach is respectful, then I'll like obviously respond, because
So yeah, we had a little difficulty. The phone died, but you look good. You look at you. You went and changed. Look at you. No,
well, no, I put on the shirt because I had like the shirt on. It was hot though, so I was like,
oh, okay. No, but what I was saying is so many people are going to enjoy this. And you were saying that you have Instagram and you have Twitter, and if the approach is respectful, you'll respond. That was what you were saying last.
Yes.
So yeah, I just want to again say thank you so much for doing this with me. You have a friend in me, like you do. I have, and I had it before I had. Like I had so much respect for you and, just what you do and who you are. And you know what's so crazy too is while I was waiting for you to return, I put in your name in Google to take in, see what pictures there are that I could grab for a thumbnail. And what I noticed about you is because of the studios you've worked with, because of the love of your fans, you have pictures out the wazoo. Like there are pictures, if you Google yourself, then you have pictures out the wazoo. Like, and most other stars, adult stars, they don't have that many. I'm looking like, oh wow, we got all kinds to choose from over here. Like you literally, you're known. You're known. And that is good. And it's even better because then, like you said, the branding, you can take that brand and hold it and move it the way you want it to move. But you definitely have a brand. You definitely have a brand. Definitely.
Well, I do appreciate the opportunity. It's been fun, like honestly, to like just like look back on everything and really embrace the fact that this is something that if I do have children in the future, but like that my family can eat from, and like that's been the biggest focus for me, is to ensure that not only myself, but the many siblings that I have, and then, my grandmother, like we will all be taken care of. So a lot of people don't operate from that perspective. I mean, I can't speak for them, so I can't really say that, but from what I've experienced, I'm not just doing this for me. Yes, I enjoy doing it, but that's why I want to brand myself and to expand on said brand, so that in the future, and as far as like, again, those who would come after me, we'd be able to just sustain ourselves, maintain. And like, I come from a family that likes good, nice things. So I want to be able to provide that to the best of my ability. And I've gotten enough experience and enough training, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, professionally, things of that nature, to be able to do this now and not have to worry about the balance of it all. So I'm on my feet now.
Yeah, and you know what's so great? You're just about to turn 30. It's going to be so amazing. Entering your 30s, this is when you're going to do it. You're going to do all that you're saying, all that you're saying, all that you're saying. And my thing too is, and I realize it because I have siblings as well, but I have my one brother, he's here, and I take care of my nephews, and so help those who help themselves. If they're helping themselves, then you don't have to do so much. Always remember that. You don't want somebody who just does nothing and just expects you to hand them something, because then they're taking advantage of you, even though they're your blood. You know?
Right.
So make sure they're helping themselves. Hey, I'm doing this. I got a job. I want this. I want that. Then you can help with college, then you can help with, then you can help with this, because they're doing their part as well. And that was something I learned in therapy, because I always had, just real quick before we go, I had survivor's guilt, because I have three siblings, and I'm the only one that made it out. And the thing is, like, my sister's bunches of babies and mental illness running rampant, and my brother's schizophrenic, and there's just a lot. But even in the guilt, my therapist and my psychiatrist helped me to realize, sweetie, that may be true, but each and every single one of them could have started therapy like you did, to start to gain footing and grounding. And I'm 39, he's 35, my sister's like 37, and the other's 33, I think. We're all like 2 years apart. But none of them have started therapy. So what can I do? Nothing. They tie my hands, because anything I try to do is coming from a place of learning and experience.
Right.
If I do it, you're just gonna, because they do things to medicate. You're just going to drink it away. You're just going to smoke it away. You're just going to, fuck it away. You're just going to, you're not going to think like I'm thinking, okay, this is a nest egg. Let me build it. Let me invest. Let me do this. They're not thinking that way. And I myself, I do kind of feel bad, because I'm like, I started therapy in my early 20s, early mid 20s. So I'm like, you're 35, dude, when are you going to start? I've got so many years on you, and you need to learn how to process all that trauma, all that anger, all that aggression, so that you can get it out and get on with your life. We're not meant to stay, and this is therapy again, we're not meant to stay in survival mode. We're supposed to cross over into thriving and being in thriving. And that's the thing, I'm thriving. They're still in survival mode, and it's crazy, because I can't even be around them. The difference in mentality is just so stark that I have to love them from afar and just not do anything. Like my sisters, I don't even talk to my sisters, and it's just like, no, because I just can't. There was some jealousy there, and it's like, how can you be jealous of someone who went and did what they had to do to get to the next level, when you are not doing what you need to do? So that's that. Thank you so much for.
Thank you, Queen of Shade.
My pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of Mr. Miller Axton. Say goodbye, but don't leave.
Okay. See y'all. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Hold on. So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Gonna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to put my thing